Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Six Man Blitz. I'm Jake Lynch. July 1st was a crazy day. All these college athletes getting paid, Twitter blowing up, bars getting on the bar stool, getting on all these athletes getting their own merch and everything. College sports are definitely crazy.
What's up, everybody? I'm Micah Huff. I'm in New Orleans now, but hey, you might see me and Jake doing yoke gaming soon. Anything, Barstool athletes? Hey, we might be doing something soon.
Hey, yo, gaming, I just saw that on everybody's thing, but
Everybody, even like people who are like not even like like one of the main guys on their teams. I've seen some regular dudes posting it.
yeah, some dudes that like fortune. I'm like, man, ain't nobody trying to play a game.
Maybe some D3 guys trying to do some yoke gaming.
Some of my teammates even posted, they're like DMs are open. I'm like, bro, you got 1,200 followers.
Yeah, what kind of business you finna get?
But this is Six Man Blitz. We got a great interview for you guys today. We got Greg Holcomb of Next Level Athletix. Talk to him about his journey, his playing days, going to junior college, and him getting what got him started in training, and then like how he grew next level into what it is today. Good interview. It's pretty long, by the way. So then after the interview, Suns head to the finals. Talk about Giannis's knee. Talk about Eastern Conference Finals, wrapping it up. And then we'll talk about Loki episode 4. Episode 4 was amazing. Spoilers later on.
Episode was amazing.
It was good, man. Especially after episode 3 was bad. Episode 4 is good. No spoilers here though. Maybe like 30 minutes from now. But man, it's got a great show for you guys today. Make sure to subscribe to Six Man Blitz on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we're on there. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. I think we got like 140 subscribers on YouTube.
We hit 140.
Hit that like button on YouTube. Helps your boys out. Hit that plus with Apple Podcasts. It changes. You got to hit the 3 little dots now, and then you got to hit the plus button. Download the episode. Spotify, still hit the plus button. Download the episode. Helps us out. This helps us go a long way. And then follow our social medias: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our Instagram blew up yesterday, man.
Hey, Instagram's been going good if you're not a Steelers fan, man. Steelers fans have been giving us so much hate. I mean, they're acting like they're going to win the division. Like, they're delusional.
We put them 5-12, which is, like, crazy to think about. But, like, they were blowing our comment section up. It's got, like, 120 comments now. So most likes we ever gotten a post. Our followers went up. That post was crazy. DMs, people just got DM'd us like, "Are you stupid?" All these. If you just look at comments, everyone's like roasting us. I'll say roasting.
Yes, the one thing is they're telling us like, "Oh, this is a joke," but they haven't given us any reason why the Steelers are going to win more than 5 games.
Some people are like, "Man, our O-line's bad." It's like, yeah, your O-line was bad last year. You guys had an easy schedule. That's why you guys like losing to the Washington football team. Like that. I hate the Steelers now. No, we are no longer the Steelers podcast. I think that's been known. We no longer like the Steelers, but man, everybody just blew up our Instagram yesterday, and it was crazy. We knew we were gonna get a reaction, but not like that big. What we get, because we tagged like Steelers fan pages, and all of them reposted it. LOL, this is a joke. Blah blah. All the fans just started flooding our everything. It was.
Yeah, because basically we have them going the same record as the Jags.
But then make sure to check out our blog too. We posted more about our blog. Posted a snippet today of why Pac-12 could gain from the NLI, name, image, and likeness. So make sure to go read that. sixmanblitz.blogpost.com. You know the vibes, man. It's on our link tree. You got anything else for the people, man?
Let's get into it.
Touchdown Bears! No way!
Hangs, fires, yes! The Bulls lead 87-86.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
All right, now let's welcome on Greg Holcomb, founder of Next Level Athletix, quarterback trainer. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, guys. I appreciate you having me on. Everything's going great, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Obviously, I've known you for a bit, Jake, so thank you for having me be a part of this.
Yeah, no doubt. We had Kyle Frater on, the other trainer at Next Level Athletix, so we had to get you on now.
Yeah, that.
You got to finish the duo. All right, so we're gonna start off with your playing days and then get into next level. All right, you ready?
Sure.
All right, so let's go back to the playing days of Greg Holcomb. So you went to JUCO out of high school. So what all went into that decision to go to junior college route?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to be 52 years old in July, so I'm a little bit on the older side. So back then, you weren't really recruited as early as you are now, and you didn't make up your college decision as early as you do now. And so I was going into my senior year of high school, and the first game of the season, I broke my collarbone in the first quarter of the first game. So I pretty much missed the entire season. I came back right at the very end. The backup quarterback that we had was more of a runner. So we completely changed the offense to be more of this, kind of option, not to my strength. So when I came back to being healthy to play, I had to play in this offense that was not, basically designed for my skill set. So, obviously any recruitment that I had was very much slowed down. I probably thought I was better than I was too. I mean, I had aspirations to play at some Division I level, like every 18-year-old, right? I mean,
all of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the pinnacle of what you want to be, and you feel like you can play at that level, and whether that's true or not, that's your mindset. And so, I had some Division III opportunities, and those weren't what I wanted to do. So a coach from Joliet Junior College contacted me. He was actually from Wisconsin. His name's Tom Horn, and asked me to come down to play at Joliet Junior College. And back then, JJC and College of DuPage and Harper and Triton, like all these JCs in the area that we live in, had football programs, and now they obviously don't. It's basically COD.
Yeah,
and so I came down and I played at Joliet Junior College. It was a good experience. We had a good team. My coach, Tom Horn, was the coach of the year in the conference. He got an opportunity to coach at a bigger opportunity. So he took the job at Valparaiso University and wanted me to come with him to Valpo. And quite honestly, I didn't get it done in the classroom to get into Valpo. And it wasn't like I had bad grades and I wasn't intelligent. I probably was immature and not as motivated as I could be. Probably, school was third on the depth chart for me in terms of priorities. I had football and having fun and girls and friends and all that stuff were probably more important. And so I couldn't go to Valpo. And so I came back to Wisconsin, and I ended up at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, which I could have gone there out of high school and just felt like it was not, what I wanted to do. But as I got there, I found out that I was in the right place, and it was a good experience for me. There was some very talented quarterbacks in front of me. One was a Division III All-American. And so, probably not the ideal playing situation if I could have played it out my own way. But, I'm a faith-based person, and whatever I got is what I got. So I was always probably more of a better teacher, cerebral kind of guy than I was an actual athletic guy. So to be in the coaching space really seems like a natural fit for me anyway. And sometimes the guys who play at the highest level aren't the best teachers. So, I feel like I certainly always had the ability to teach, coach, explain, kind of break things down. And so, so I think I found my calling for sure. And I kind of felt like that as I was playing, Division III football, that maybe I could be, I thought to myself, maybe I could go into teaching. And I didn't want to sit in a classroom and teach, that was not what I was going to be. So I went into corporate America, and I enjoyed it for a small amount of time and started to make a nice little career in that space. But coaching was always something that I still wanted to do. So I really just kind of started to find some space in the private quarterback sector and was kind of doing some things on the side. And that rolled into, more starting Next Level. So there were some opportunities that I had coaching with some other guys beforehand. Just wasn't the right fit. Didn't feel like I was on the same page with those guys from a personality standpoint. And so it just felt like a natural opportunity to do my own thing. And 7 years ago, that's what we did. And I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, it's definitely good not look back because what you built has been amazing. Next Level.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been, I didn't have any expectations really. I mean, I didn't say, oh, I want to make, this many quarterbacks on my roster when I started, or I'd love to make this amount of money when I was doing this. Like, I just was like, I'm just going to do something that I really like and put my heart and soul into it, and kind of whatever happens is what happens. And, I've got a great family that supports me. And so, it's been a good ride, and I feel like we have a reputable brand that's been established, and we've got some pretty good kids that train with us. Kyle obviously has been on your show and is a guy that helps us with receivers. And, we have some like-minded, high character guys that are helping us on our staff, and we collaborate and try to, at the end of the day, it's about just trying to make young men into better football players, and hopefully young men outside of football as well. So.
Now, you did bring up that you did go through a different route. How would you describe the JUCO lifestyle to players out there that might go that route too? Is it like Last Chance U, how people paint it that way?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. We had some rough guys on our roster. So I grew up in a little bit rough of a neighborhood in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I was around different types of people, different races, different economic backgrounds, and things of that nature growing up. So when I got to Joliet Junior College, it wasn't anything new for me. There was a lot of guys that came from some rough neighborhoods in Indianapolis, on the west side and south side of Chicago. My roommate actually was from a very, very poor part of Chicago. I forget the high school that he went to. His name was Anthony. He had very, very little when he moved into our apartment. I mean, like, there was nothing in his closet, very little clothes, no shoes, things of that nature. So, you had some guys that came from some rough backgrounds, and you saw that type of behavior on the practice field and in the games. I mean, there were guys that were dismissed from our program on a weekly basis. Some guys that we all lived in the same apartment complex, and, there was some really rough fights in that apartment complex, like guys on your own team that, maybe took somebody's money, or, there was some rough stuff going on. So when I watched Last Chance U, it was not that different. It was not. It was, but, I said earlier, I'm a faith-based person, and I was supposed to be in that environment at that time. And, I feel like any experience that you have, you take something from it. So I value my time there. I mean, I needed to be there. I needed to see like what a rough kind of situation looked like, so that I certainly could appreciate anything past that. So, I experienced it and appreciated it for what it was. It was a chance to play football at some level, and to, try, even though it didn't work out as the way that I wanted to, but try to play in a situation at a higher level. The nice thing about it, we had some very talented kids on our team. So there were recruiters that were always at our games. We had a guy named Corey Taylor who ended up going to Indiana University. He played fullback there, I think, but he was a tight end for our team. Damaris Johnson was from Detroit Martin Luther King High School. And I think he went on to one of the Michigans, Western or Eastern. There was a handful of guys, the talented players that were on our team. So, yeah, I liked it. And I got to be around one of the best coaches I've ever played for in Tom Horn. So, if I don't go the junior college route and play for Tom Horn and find out how great of a guy he is. I mean, he ended up being at Valpo for like 20 years. He left JJC, took the Valpo job. They won about 2 or 3 games a year, and he turned that program into a very reputable, solid program. And at the time, they weren't FCS Division I. They were Division II. So now it's a program that can offer kids scholarships. They play in a very good conference in the Pioneer against some really good competition. So, I feel like Tom Horn helped pave the way for Valpo to be in that situation. And that started at his last year. I got to experience him in his last year at Joliet Junior College. So I still see him at the Glazier Clinic every once in a while. He pops in and out of there. So I'll see Coach Horn there from time to time. So yeah, it's not for everybody. You certainly have to have some thick skin and to be able to be a little bit humble. I mean, we didn't have nice things. We didn't have, on Last Chance U, they've got probably sponsorships and things of that nature. They're on television.
They got like helmets and everything,
Yeah, they got a lot.
Yeah, we're buying our own cleats. There was no trainer really to tape anybody up. I mean, there were a lot of things that we had in high school that we didn't have at JJC. So it was a little bit rough, but, it certainly was an experience that I value.
It's crazy to think that JJC had a football team, and maybe we would see some guys our age like going the JJC route.
No doubt.
College around here besides COD. So
Yeah. It's when that program started to fold, it was kind of a sad time because, as everybody knows, it's very expensive to run a football program. So, if you don't have the financial support behind it, it's simply not going to succeed. So, after I left, I know that there was a coach named Tom Minnick that took over that program. And if you look up Tom Minnick, he took JJC to, I believe, some national championships. If you know the name Rob Ninkovic, who played for the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
So Rob Ninkovic played at JJC. There was a cornerback who played at the University of Illinois and also for the Indianapolis Colts for a long time named Kelvin Hayden. So those guys all came through Joliet Junior College back when they had a football program. So I'm kind of, I'm proud to say that I played in that program, and that there were some guys that played at the highest level, and both of those guys won Super Bowls. Kelvin Hayden won a Super Bowl with the Colts when they beat the Bears, and Rob Ninkovic won a few with the Patriots. So, it's funny how a small little suburban junior college down the road who doesn't have football anymore really was a springboard for some pretty good players.
Yeah, it's got deep history for sure.
Yeah.
How you started Next Level. So let's say a quarterback goes Next Level. What are you looking at the quarterback just to get started off with them?
Everybody's different. I try to find out, what their short-term and long-term goals are. A lot of kids come in, they simply just want to be the best version of themselves that they can be. So, that's a bigger I shouldn't say a bigger, it's an easier challenge, I think, than someone who, really wants to be the starting varsity quarterback at their high school, and is going to have to compete against some pretty good competition. So, we try to find out what their goals are, and short-term and long-term. And obviously the main thing that we want to do is make them fundamentally sound. So for us, it starts with mechanics, and, we bring them in for an assessment. So that's a one-on-one session with me where I basically just break down their mechanics and focus on the areas of strength that they do really well, and then the areas of weakness that they need to improve on. And, we do a lot of video analysis in that session. And once that's over, we kind of give them a little breakdown of here's where you are and here's where you fit in our program. So after the assessment, they'll go into a semi-private setting. So that's usually 2 or 3 quarterbacks in about the same age and skill level. And let's be honest, not everybody is at the same skill level. So I might have a 9th grader that's very underdeveloped and just raw and not there. And then I'll have some 9th graders that are really talented. So I try to micromanage the schedule so that, higher level talented 9th graders are training with other higher level talented ninth graders. And, you know, we try to make sure that the kids who maybe aren't quite there understand that you can get to this stage, but it's going to take some time and you're going to have to really work at it to be, you know, better than what you are. So it's our way of that we feel like is providing more of a personal attention approach to their training that doesn't throw them into a big group and make them just a number. So we do have group training on Sunday. It's not the foundation of what we do. We like a little bit more of a private setting that will allow us to help kids that are struggling in specific areas to really focus on those. And when you have too many kids, it's really difficult to do that. So, you know, when there's 3 kids in a training session, the nice thing is if 1 or 2 of the guys is taking a rep and another guy is sitting there watching, he can get a little bit of a mental rep, and then the next rep is his rep and he gets to throw. So there's a competitive component to that. You know, you're competing not only with yourself, but maybe against the other 2 or 3 guys that are in your little, you know, semi-private group. So, you know, we look for kids that are going to fit in our program and, you know, are going to maximize the opportunity to do whatever it is they want to do. And ultimately, we want to train kids that are going to be varsity level starting quarterbacks. So, you know, I don't want to say that we don't take kids because they're not good enough, because that sounds obnoxious. But you're in a private setting like that, I feel like you should be of a certain caliber because, you know, it's just, again, I don't want to sound obnoxious, but I want kids who train with us to understand, like, if you're going to come into our program, there's an expectation. If you're a next level quarterback, you know, we feel like that you should be a guy that can take varsity jobs as a sophomore from other juniors and seniors. And maybe they train at another place, maybe they don't. But our job is to prepare guys at a young age so that they can get on the field and win the job over anybody else that's at that school. And that's one of the reasons that we don't take a whole bunch of kids from the same school. Like, I don't want to grab 2 kids from the same graduating class that are at the same school. Yeah, for me, it's impossible for me to not be biased toward one. So, you know, how we take kids into our program, and we've done this before. I won't give you specific examples, but I've had dads who have called up and said, hey, I've got a son, he's a junior at wherever, and we'd really like to bring him in. And I'll say, well, I already trained the junior at your school, and you know, I've been training him for about 2 years, so I really can't do that. And a lot of times he's like, well, I don't understand that. Well, you know, if I'm gonna be dedicated to the young man who I've been working with, I mean, that's who I'm gonna roll with. And I know your son might be talented, but I'm sorry, you're gonna have to maybe go to the guy down the street. And it's not like I want to turn down business, but at the same time, I want us to be a place where parents and kids can feel like they can come, and they're going to be the main focus over simply being in a group setting that's going to make them just a number.
Right, yeah. And if they're dedicated to you, you should be dedicated to them back. So if you have a kid for 2 years, then you should keep sticking with that kid.
100%.
Now, you mentioned that your calling might have been teaching. What are some of the best things you found working at Next Level?
You know, it's dealing with different personalities and different kids. You know, I'm challenged on a daily basis by kids who maybe physically just aren't where they need to be. And for me, I can get real frustrated with that person and, you know, start to almost check out on them because I just don't see the development that they need to make. You know, I had a kid who was training with me, and I told him, you're the same kid at session 8 as you are at session 1. Like, either I'm not getting through to you, or you simply aren't developing the way that we need to. We have to figure something out. So I've learned, you know, 1, to be a little bit more patient, and 2, to try to find different ways to reach kids who just maybe wired a little bit differently. So it's really been an amazing experience for me to just understand how, you know, different kids operate. It's almost like, you know, I was watching A Football Life with Kurt Warner, and I think it was Torrey Holt or Marshall Falk. One of them were talking about how, Kurt Warner can talk to a person who needs to be screamed at and yelled at and, you know, really dug into, and then go to the next person who he knows won't respond well to that kind of behavior and talk to him in a totally different way that will be a little bit softer or maybe a little bit more encouraging. So, you know, when I saw that, I thought that's exactly how I have to coach. Like, I've got to be able to go to a kid who needs to be, you know, pushed a little bit, and then also be able to switch gears to change the way that I approach another kid that if I'm hard on him, he won't respond. Like my son, for example, when he's yelled at, I can tell he's just checked out. Yeah. But when he's spoken to and it's a little bit more of a conversation, it resonates with him. So, you know, for me, having Next Level and just dealing with so many different kids and so many different skill sets, levels of talent, personalities that are different, it's just really, it's helped me to just be able to kind of put, you know, I tell our kids when they're training, like, it's all about, we're putting tools in your toolbox, right? When you need to pull out a hammer, you got to have a hammer in your toolbox. If you don't have a hammer in there and you need one, that's a problem. So I almost look at my coaching experience the same way. I've got to be able to have these tools in my toolbox to be able to pull out specific styles for different types of kids. So, yeah, it's been an experience that certainly has carried not only on the football field and the training environment, but just into my personal life with my family and my relationships that I have with others too. So,
yeah, that would definitely be a challenge. We had a lot of coaches that struggled to be able to hold both, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So you talked about you started Next Level 7 years ago. How would you say you grew it into what it is today? You
know, that's a really good question. And I didn't really have a lot of expectations on what I wanted it to be. We started out with just a handful of quarterbacks. I started it in January, so I was indoors, obviously. There's a really great speed, agility, and strength training place in Lombard called Physical Fusion. They had a patch of turf that they were renting out. They were just under construction, so they opened right around the time that I launched Next Level. And so I would go in there on a Saturday and a Sunday, and I think I'd rent the turf for about 2 or 3 hours. And I would have about 2 or 3 quarterbacks. There would be one quarterback, and he would train for an hour. And, you know, then that would be my day. And I would say that when I started to get into the warmer months that year, and we got outside, and we did our first Rise and Fire camp, actually. I believe it was right around June something. And for whatever reason, we had some pretty high profile guys that signed up for that Rise and Fire camp. There was a kid named Christian Perez from East St. Louis who ended up going to Louisville. Ben Bryant, who went off to Cincinnati and now is at Eastern Michigan. Jeremy Hunt was in that camp. So we had kids sign up for that camp that sort of trained with me, but maybe not necessarily. And I think they got a good experience at the camp, and that started to kind of get more kids to walk into the door to train. And so that summer, you know, we started to just start training a little bit more kids. And then the football season started. And I want to say when the season was over in November and we started training indoors that winter, it was a situation where I had to rent the turf instead of 2 or 3 hours. Now I'm renting it for like 5 or 6 hours. And it just continued to grow. And, you know, I think once we started to do our camp, people started to enjoy that camp, and they started to feel like, wow, this has been a really good weekend experience. Why don't I do this on a regular basis with the guy who's running this camp? So, you know, camps are a lot of work, and there's a lot of administrative stuff, but it's a chance for you to get in front of kids that may or may not train with you, and that could possibly turn into them wanting to train with you. And I think ours did that. We started to do that camp in Los Angeles, and the second year we did it, we had a probably roster of a dozen Power 5 Division I guys that came to that camp. So that was the year that JJ came out to LA. Tyler Buckner was there. He's going to be a freshman at Notre Dame. Miller Moss was there. He's going to be a freshman at USC. Hank Bachmeier was there. He's already at Boise State. Jake Garcia is a freshman at Miami. Hurricanes was there. I mean, there was just a lot of talented quarterbacks there. And I think, you know, once you get around or run an event and they, you know, right or wrong, kids see stuff like that on social media and they're like, oh my God, this guy was at this camp. Maybe this guy really does know what he's doing. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but, you know, so we started to just grow. I mean, I think the nice thing too is we started to develop some relationships with some high school coaches who are very supportive in sending their quarterbacks to train with us. So, you know, once that happens, that's certainly a blessing because, you know, high school coaches certainly have a lot of influence over the players and what they do in their off season. So, you know, we've, you know, I feel like we've got a nice relationship with some very high profile coaches in the Chicagoland area who support Next Level and feel strongly that that's the route that their quarterback should take to come and train with them. So, yeah, it started to grow organically and through, you know, word of mouth. Social media is a powerful tool. So, you know, we feel like we do a pretty good job of posting some, you know, some things on social media that show our quarterbacks, you know, doing some good things and that brings kids in.
I mean, it's talking about social media. You had the JJ clip the other day go viral, and everybody kept talking about that. It's like, when is someone going to pull us off in a game? It's like, he's just messing around, you know, but that's social media for you, you know? Like,
it really is. Yes. It gets a little bit obnoxious with some of the comments that are below stuff like that. And it's like, you know, it's an 18-year-old having fun out on a football field. So, yeah.
You talked a little about the Rise and Fire camp. How did that camp come to be?
You know, I'm kind of an OCD. I like the organization and all like the components that have to go into something like that. I like that stuff. Like, it's a lot of work, and for a lot of people, that's a pain in the rear. But you know, I enjoy it. So for me, it's twofold. One, it's to, you know, set up a camp, and then second, it's to market it so that you get kids to sign up for the camp. And then the third part of it is the execution of the camp. And it's very much like what I did for the line of work that I was in before I started training. I was working in corporate America, working in the marketing world, and it's the same thing, right? It's an idea that comes to mind. You have to put all these components into place, and then you have to execute this idea for a client. And for me, it was, you know, part of it was the fact that I've been to a lot of very poorly run camps. They either were understaffed, they were oversold, so there were too many kids on the field. There was no structure to it, so no schedule. So, you know, a lot of probably the reason I feel like that we execute a pretty good camp is that we simply try to like check off the boxes of things that other camps that I've been to that have not gone over very well. And you and I both know that if you have a bad experience at a camp, you're simply not coming back. It's like a restaurant that opens. If you go and eat there and it's not very good food or the service isn't good, you're not going back to eat there again. And restaurants survive on repeat customers. So, you know, we tried to make a camp that we felt like was staffed very well. So we bring in coaches from all other parts of the country. You know, our quarterback group is from California, Indianapolis, Oklahoma, Ohio, Florida, Virginia, locally here in Illinois. And do we need to bring those guys in from out of state and pay for their flights and put them in hotels? We don't. But we also know that they do a good job in the areas that they do private quarterback training. And so they're going to bring something to the Chicagoland area for this camp that is different that other kids have not experienced. So you can come and train with me and you're going to get my style of coaching, my style of drills, my style of what I do. But then when we bring in other guys from other areas, you're going to get, they're doing like-minded stuff that we feel like is the correct way to train, but it's also in a different way. Like I was watching some of the drills that some of the guys were doing last weekend, and I loved a lot of them. There were things that I don't do that they were giving kids an opportunity to do. So the staff for sure is what continues to keep people coming back. And I feel like we have a great staff in place from the quarterback group, the receiver group, and the defensive group. So, if you can put a camp together that isn't oversold, that has enough coaches to provide enough instruction, and has a schedule and structure in place that will run smoothly, I think when people leave, they'll be very prone to sign up for it again the next year. And, this was our 6th year doing the Rise and Fire Camp. We do it in Los Angeles. We've done it in Dallas at AT&T Stadium this past winter. So we're trying to do it in some pretty cool venues that are going to also draw kids. So we're going to plan to go back to Dallas. I'm in conversations with a guy at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles who wants us to come to SoFi Stadium the weekend after the Super Bowl's over. So, we might do our LA camp there. I'm not 100% sure yet, but, we're just trying to provide a good camp the kids are going to want to continue to come to year after year.
Yeah, it's definitely done well. I know when I was in high school, only like the best quarterbacks were at that camp. And I was like you look at the list, you look at all the quarterbacks that we played and stuff, we're like, oh, is he going to make it at Rise and Fire Camp and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we had a great group this year. There's a young man that started to train with me from Michigan named CJ Carr. He's a class of 2024. He just got Penn State on Friday. He's got Nebraska, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Michigan State. So very high-profile quarterback. Just in his freshman year, going to be a sophomore next year. So he was at the camp. So when you have kids like that come to the camp, you have other kids that are going to come to camp, not only to, throw with them, but kind of throw sort of against them, right? They want to measure, see what, if they stack up against a guy who's got some major Power 5 offers. So, we're fortunate that kids see our camp as a valuable resource for them to come to. We don't sell it as a recruiting tool. We don't have coaches there, college coaches. They can come if they want to, but we certainly don't promote it that way. But we do make sure that we have a lot of media there. So, all the local guys and as many media members that we can get are going to come there. They're going to write articles on the kids that do well at the camp, and hopefully, some of the things that they may publish on social media possibly gets looked at by somebody, and who knows if that leads to a trail that might get eyeballs on them from some other, a program that may want to be looking at a receiver, a DB, or quarterback, or, what have you. So.
Exactly. And you get that media there. That's something.
Edgy Tim be there.
Edgy Tim's there. Edgy Tim. All the Rivals guys that are local, the Red Zone guys have really done a nice job creating space in the media area for high school football. So it was good to have, about a dozen media guys there to take video and write articles and do all those things. So those are still being written and published, even right now. And the camp's been over for a week. So it's nice to see, things of that nature that are still popping up. It helps us promote the camp more, and it helps the kids who came to the camp continue to get recognized as they go into the fall season.
So let's shift gears to the NFL real quick. Who's your favorite quarterback to watch in the NFL right now?
I love Kyler Murray, man. I really, really love Kyler Murray. He's unconventional. He's got a long backstroke. He's got kind of a long delivery, but I don't feel like he loses. It's not a lengthy delivery that's going to take time. It's compact and it's powerful. But he does so many things that I love to watch him do with his legs that still keeps him as a passer. So, I just feel like he's just a special talent. I mean, he was a first round draft pick by the A's. He was a Heisman Trophy winner and the first pick in the draft in the NFL. Like, he's just a special talent. I love watching him play. You're going to live and die with him. He does make some mistakes and does some things that maybe he shouldn't. but he makes some incredible off-platform throws. He moves so well in the pocket. He's undersized, so I love that too, because, you know, everybody always talks so much about how it's important to be 6'2" and all that crap. And, you know, granted, not everybody's Kyler Murray, so I understand that too. But at the same time, you know, he's just a special talent that I think is kind of what the future of the NFL is going to be a little bit more. You know, that athletic trait type quarterback, the pocket passer guy, and I tell my quarterbacks this all the time. Like Phillip Rivers just retired, right?
Yeah.
And Brady's probably next. I mean, who knows how long he's going to play. But, you know, those guys don't necessarily have a whole lot of movement in the pocket. And once they're gone, you've got this era of younger guys that are coming through. I mean, Russell Wilson's been in the league for a while, but he's been that kind of guy for a while. But the Josh Allens and the Kyler Murrays, you know, some of the younger guys that have been drafted this year, I could easily see Justin Fields being in that category. Trevor Lawrence is a big, tall dude, but he's got some very good athletic trait movements. Josh Allen's very athletic for how big he is. So you see guys that can make, you know, some of these off-platform movement throws. And that really, I think, is what separates them from, you know, from other guys. And those are the special talent guys. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is obviously low-hanging fruit. That's a very easy go-to. You know, but he's been making throws like that since he came into the league. And there's just, you can see the shift in the style of quarterback play. And I'm not saying traditional old school there's nothing wrong with that. But you better be a guy that can move around and extend some plays and make some throws that maybe are traditionally not what you'd want. You know, I tell our kids when we're training to make some kind of funky throws, your high school coach is probably not going to want you to make this throw. Nobody wants you to roll out to the left and then throw across to the middle of the field.
Right.
But if that's the only guy open, we want to make that throw. I mean, if you're going to make that throw and make a first down, that's a chain moving throw. And so we train that way because I don't want them to attempt that throw for the first time in a competitive environment. So, you know, if it's comfortable for them in our training, once it happens in a game, it's not going to feel very risky. It's going to feel very comfortable and natural. And people in the stands will be like, oh my God, he threw like, you know, across the field, whatever. And that's like, you know, 10 years ago, I don't think you're really doing that as much as you are today. Today, it's very normal and you have to train that way. So, you know, we evolve our training based on what we see happening on the field at the highest level. And that's kind of like the format of why we teach what we teach.
Yeah, you mentioned Justin Fields. Now, what did you think about the Chicago Bears taking Justin Fields?
Best pick for that team. Like, I think the Bears got the best person that fit their team in the draft.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think it was the best guy to go to that specific team. One, I think the city needed that kind of pickup, you know? It's just been so down. And as soon as he got drafted, you just felt this energy from everybody that's been a Bear fan. Like, you don't even have to see the guy play one snap in practice, and you already have these just, you know, good feelings about him. Now, there's probably some unfair expectations being put on him, but hey, he's playing professional football and he's got to, you know, do the job that he's being asked to do. But I really think he's going to be very successful. I love everything about him. You know, I was just saying to my son, Sam, 1 year ago tonight, we flew out to Nashville to go to the Elite 11 finals to watch JJ compete in those. And the college counselors that were at the Elite 11 finals were Trey Lance, Justin Fields, KJ Costello, and I forget the name of the guy who transferred from Wake Forest to Georgia and never played. Jamie Newman?
Yeah, Jamie Newman, yeah.
Yeah. So those were the 4 college counselors. And my son and some of his little friends that were in Nashville, they would go up to Justin Fields on a daily basis in the lobby of the hotel and talk to him and ask him for pictures with him. He could not have been a nicer person to my kid. And so I immediately, I already liked him a lot. I loved just his ability on the field. But just watching him do that, I immediately fell in love with the guy. So when the Bears picked him, I was extremely happy because I felt like they got a great person, a very talented young man, and a guy that's just going to pump energy into this city. So I thought it was the best pick in the draft for their team over any other team.
Yeah.
Now, when would you start him?
Right now.
Hey, preseason, he's the guy.
Right now. And here's the thing. I think Andy Dalton, obviously I don't know him personally, but when I look at him, he looks like the perfect veteran to bring along a guy like Justin Fields.
Yeah.
There's got to be, in the back of his mind, he knows he's on the tail end of his career, right? And so, first of all, he's going to make a whole lot of money to be a backup in Chicago.
Right, he's making like $10 million.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So, I feel like he can teach Justin Fields very much how to be a pro. And, he's not going to be a guy that is probably going to have a big ego and feel like I don't want to bring this young kid around because he's taking my job. I think it'll be the opposite. I look at him and I think he's probably the right guy to be able to say, you know what, my time's up, man. And why don't I bring this young man along and try to make him be the best possible pro he could be? So again, I feel like it was a perfect setting for him. Andy Dalton probably didn't come to Chicago to sit on the bench, but he also has to realize what kind of a talent they brought in to be the future of the organization. So, Andy Dalton to me is a completely different skill set. So you almost have two different offenses if you start Andy Dalton and then bring in Justin Fields. For me, I would roll with Justin Fields right out of the gate. Let him take some lumps. Obviously don't crush his confidence, but he's such a dynamic player that you can do so many good things with his legs. And I think the Bears will find a way to tailor their offense around him to make him successful. They've got a lot of pieces in place. So, I think it's an opportunity for them to really make a push to win that division.
You got Bears fans excited. I know I'm excited just hearing this.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
oh, man.
All right,
jersey number 1 now.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. The last time we had number jersey 1, probably a punter or something.
Yeah.
The real number 1. All right, so for the second part of the interview, we normally do rapid-fire questions. So now we're going to hit you with some questions. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Now, this one's probably hard. Who is the best quarterback you have trained?
J.J. McCarthy.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah, right there. All right, so who was a player you modeled growing up?
Steve Young and Boomer Esiason. Yeah, Boomer Esiason is a little bit older, more of a pocket passer guy. But I'm left-handed. So you're talking about, I gravitated toward left-handed quarterbacks. So Steve Young, as he came into the league and started to have some success, I really started to like him. So I wore number 7 or number 8 for those two guys for a long time.
Surprised you didn't say Kenny Stabler on the lefty, man.
Dude, that's even before me.
Now, what advice would you give a guy going into high school?
Just do your part. Try not to do too much. Work within your skill set, learn the offense and just try to be the best version of yourself. Control what you can control.
Yeah, that's definitely great.
All right, so baseball season's coming around. It's already here. Cubs or White Sox?
San Francisco Giants.
Best team in baseball right now, so I don't blame you.
I do my all time.
All right, now, thin crust or deep dish?
Thin crust.
Oh, what?
Yes. Lou Malnati's thin crust.
Okay. Yeah, that thin crust is decent.
And here's the thing. I don't dislike deep dish, but I just love Lou Malnati's thin crust.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with deep dish, but you can't have it constantly over and over. What you have things.
Exactly. I can eat pizza easily once a week, no problem. Yeah. But I can't eat deep dish once a week. I'll have a heart attack.
It's got to be once or twice a month, at most.
Yes.
All right, so big basketball guy, settle the Jordan LeBron debate.
It's impossible to settle that. First of all, we're in a state that is never going to go anything against Michael Jordan, and I understand that. And I'm not so naive that I don't think both are fantastic players, but I still have to give the nod to Jordan, even though my son, who's 10 years old, completely doesn't think so. He thinks LeBron is the greatest of all time. I've got to give a nod to Jordan, but I don't think there's a big gap, you know? Yeah. And there's a whole lot of factors behind that, but for me, it's, you know, it's still just too easy to go with Jordan.
Hey, okay. We're not over here.
I'm settling it off Space Jam, right, July 16th. It's over.
Yes.
But now, so you're starting a franchise.
Yes.
Who are you picking, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
So Aaron Rodgers is my all-time favorite.
Okay.
So it's very difficult for me to go against them. And I grew up in Wisconsin. You know, I'm not the biggest Packer fan. I've always grown up a 49er fan. But, you know, Aaron Rodgers, and there's such both great talents, but to me they're so very different. Like Tom Brady is so much more of a pocket passer. You know, he's just so patient in his progressions. He sits back there. He moves around just enough. Aaron Rodgers is a different cat. Like that dude is going to move around more, make plays with his legs a little bit. I wouldn't call him like, you know, a speedy type of quarterback, but he's athletic. He's deceptively athletic. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to go against Rodgers because I really just love the way he plays the game. And a lot of the training that I do, I have drills and a lot of exercises that mimic a lot of the things that he's done in games. So it's hard for me to go against Rodgers, but you know, I don't think you can't go wrong with either guy.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
No.
All right, so say you're walking down the street. It's midnight. It's like midnight, 3 a.m. You're going in an alley. You get into a street fight. Who are you picking to back you up in a street fight? It can be anybody. You don't even have to know him.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the popular answer. Mike Tyson, definitely, for sure.
That's too easy.
Now, you got 3 dinner guests, dead or alive. Who are you choosing?
Oof, man, that is tough. I'd go Aaron Rodgers because he's my all-time favorite quarterback. And he's just such an interesting, weird guy.
Yeah. Doesn't he like his family?
Gonna watch Jeopardy.
Yeah. He's an odd cat, man. I just feel like he's just, you know, he's super strange and he's just, I don't know. I think if you sat down at dinner with him, he'd just have some weird stories. He's just an interesting cat. Gary Oldman is my favorite actor of all time, so I'd have to say Gary Oldman. And then, God, I don't know, as a third one, that's a really good question. It's hard for me to say. I'm not sure. I've got Aaron Rodgers, Gary Oldman, and I'm such a sports guy, so I'm probably going to go the round of sports. I'd probably go Jordan.
Okay, yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Jordan. I mean,
you can't go wrong with Jordan. I mean,
you
know, I could say a political figure or somebody that I'm supposed to say, like, oh, let me sit down with Ben Franklin, or like that just wouldn't interest me. I'm going, you know, sports guys and my favorite actor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can never go wrong with that. All right, so for the last question, we ask everybody this very popular question: in the movie Cars, do they have life insurance or car insurance?
In the movie Cars? Life insurance or car insurance?
Yeah.
Life insurance, because that's going to pay out more and it's going to take care of my family.
That makes sense.
It's a good answer.
It's a good answer. All right, so that's all we got for you. We appreciate you again for coming on. We're going to be supporting Next Level Athletix moving forward, man. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for the time.
All right. Hi, we're back. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Greg Holcomb. Some great stuff. Go follow him, Next Level Athletix, Instagram and Twitter. But now, Let's get into some NBA talk, man. No NFL talk today. Just NBA. Let's talk about the Suns. They punched their ticket Wednesday night to go to the NBA Finals. Now, Suns in 4, Suns in 6. A lot of people have been skeptical about the Suns. CP3 coming back with COVID. Hasn't really been the same. He did drop 41 the other day, though. But where do you see the Suns team going? Do you see them winning at all? Do you see them coming up just short? Jamison Crowder, MVP, or Jay Crowder, MVP. Where do you see the Suns team going?
Ivan Ooze. Hey, but now I see the Suns as a favorite now, to be honest. You look at Giannis, you don't really know the health. There's nothing torn, but it's a similar injury to what Kawhi had, with the what is it, like a knee sprain or something?
Yeah, hyperextended.
Similar to that.
Let me ask you a question though. If Trae Young is fully healthy, are they the favorites versus the Hawks?
Yes, I think they are. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, they have a good team. Bridges and Crowder, when they give you production, that it's different because you saw Crowder have 19 last night or something crazy. He was hooping. And then Aiden's gonna give you what he gives you, 10 points in the first half. He gives you 10 points right off the back.
And he gets you the rebounds too.
Yeah. He had a great performance, and really it came down to, Chris Paul, unstoppable. It was a performance, his best performance yet, to be honest. 7 for 8 from the 3. It was just, and it's the Clippers could do nothing. At that point, it's when you're getting beat in a game, on the video game, and your only option is just to try to fight the guy. That's all it is.
And that's what Pat Bev did, man. What was wrong with Pat Bev, man? From behind, punk ass move, man.
Bro, have you seen Above the Rim? I know there was a meme where, in Above the Rim.
Whoa, when he's got the gun? Yeah,
at the end where he's got the gun, they lose the game, and he tries to shoot him.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen the movie, but I know that's a classic.
It's a classic, yeah.
That's a classic GIF or picture that they use whenever Kyrie has a bad game, or who brought the gun into the Gilbert Arenas?
Yeah, no,
it's Agent Zero. Who brought the gun into the game?
In the movie or in the show?
No. Like the Wizards, like the Washington Wizards. They brought the gun to the game.
I'm just gonna go with Gilbert Arenas. Hey, good answer. Good answer.
They always do that. Honestly, for me, I'm not with you, man. I'm not backing the Suns here unless the Bucks make it. If the Bucks make it, I'm going for the Suns. I said last week I'm with the Hawks all the way. I'm sticking with that. I meant that. I'm sticking with it. The thing about this, man, the Suns, AD out, LeBron not 100%. Jamal Murray out. That was huge. People didn't think it's huge, but it's huge. Kawhi Leonard out. They literally had not the easiest, but a not healthy team each way. A banged up team, so some would say, the whole path to the finals. And the Clippers would have smoked them, man. Honestly, if had
Kawhi Leonard was playing, it's a different series. Yeah.
Who was guarding Kawhi Leonard?
Jay Crowder. He's gonna try.
Jay Crowder. I mean,
he's gonna try.
And it's Chris Paul. He had a bad series because of COVID. Got to put COVID. And then last game, he tore it up. So I don't know what to think about this game. I don't know if it's just a one game wonder for CP3 because he can go back to being shit because, he's not fully – I don't think he's fully 100% yet COVID because his whole series, it was bad for CP3. It wasn't – he was coming up short on shots and all this and that. But I feel like it's great for the Suns to be in there. And a lot of people are saying this is going to be the – weakest NBA finals, which I agree with because me and my friends are going to Mizzou next weekend. So we're going to see one of the games, Saturday night or something like that. And I was like, man, we're going to be watching Trae Young versus Devin Booker in the finals. who would have thought?
Dude, the last first couple seasons Trae Young has been in, nobody really picked him as a superstar guy that's going to carry his team to the finals. And he's in the final. He could be in the finals, bro.
Exactly. He can be in the finals. And it's but people were saying that, though, because there's not legends on these teams besides Chris Paul. But Bucks, everybody's young. There's no for sure Hall of Famer on the team.
Come on, dude. There's a legend on the Hawks if they make it. Tony Snell, man. And Chris Dunn. There's so many guys that were on the Bulls that are finally because you even see Chris Dunn, Tony Snell, Cameron Payne. Come on.
Man, shut the hell up, man. But it's always LeBron's, if the Nets were in there, Harden, KD, fuck Kyrie, Harden, KD, there's people like that, Joel Embiid. So having a Trey Young, Bogdanovich, Kevin Huerter, versus CP3, DeAndre Ayton, and Devin Booker, who if Suns don't have, CP3, probably are 6th seed in the West. Like, we're being completely honest. Like, CP3 changed around DeAndre Ayton. He brought up Devin Booker's game, but Devin Booker, after the Suns got the sucky suck in the bubble, they've been a whole different team. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not rooting for the Suns unless the Bucks make it, because I feel about the Bucks. But
you're a certified Bucks hater, bro.
Yeah, I'm a certified Bucks hater. No cap, man. No cap. But hey, talk about that. Eastern Conference Finals. We're recording this before Game 5, so Thursday at 5 Central Time. So recording this before because that boy's in New Orleans gonna get lit tonight, man. But that having Giannis' knee injury is devastating for the Bucks. We all know that when your best player gets out of the game, it's devastating. But honestly, like, I don't see him coming back though. You see Chris Bosh, he said that today. A lot of guys like it's just a hyperextended knee. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Kawhi.
He hasn't played yet.
Out for the whole series. And I feel like that's devastating for the Bucks because the Hawks teams. This how the series is going. Hawks, win Game 1. The Bucks win Game 2. But Game 3, it's like the Hawks get out to that early ass lead. It's like 22-8, and here comes Giannis just acting like Derrick Henry top the key. Dunking on people. Just running past people, dunking on them, and it's like the Hawks start off so good each game. Like, it's happened every game, and then the Bucks come back with Giannis. But Game 4, they couldn't come back.
No,
you saw that not having Giannis. Now the Bucks. Drew Holiday and Middleton, I think, should still beat this Hawks team. Like, deadass. Those two, I think they can still beat the Hawks.
Like, if Trey Young doesn't play, you think so?
Even with Trey Young playing, bro, I think those two can just beat the Hawks.
I mean, because you think about it, Trey Young's absence, you got Chris Dunn in there. He'll give you 0 points in like 10 minutes, 2 assists, whatever numbers he had in his little time he was in. But no, to be serious, like, this Hawks team has so many shooters. Cam Reddish came back, and he's giving you 11 points a game. So I think, like – and you saw, like, even with Trey Young out that last game, them boys is not missing. Lou Williams can give you 20 and win you a game. That's what we saw.
Did you see is Trey Young playing tonight?
Trey Young – I know Giannis isn't playing.
They have not come out anything yet on Trey Young. That's obviously huge. If he plays,
it's going to be a game-time decision.
Obviously huge if he plays or not. If he plays, I got the Bucks. If he doesn't play, I got the Hawks. No.
Wait. I was about to say, what you mean by that?
I got the Hawks. If he doesn't play, I got the Hawks. He's at Milwaukee, though, so that could be something. Home court advantage isn't that huge this year. It's not 100%. It's still big difference, though. But
though, without Giannis, they still have his brother, man. He gonna hype the crowd up.
Hey, what's Giannis' brother's name, man?
Giannis or something?
I can't even say it, bro. I don't even know.
All of their what's the other one named Costas or something? Yeah, something crazy.
Bro, it took us 3 years to finally get Giannis a name. Everybody used to say Giannis.
Dude, I'm saying, bro, every episode I think I said Giannis, but then like my sister's friend is from Milwaukee and she's a Bucks fan and she's like she corrects me every time I say Giannis. She's like, it's Giannis. I'm like,
yeah. For a while it's Giannis, and then everyone's like, oh, it's Giannis. So it took a while for that to happen finally. But what would your finals prediction be right now?
I'm gonna go Hawks and Suns, but I'm gonna take the Suns in that matchup.
I'm with you, but I'm taking the Hawks in that matchup.
Bro, how many games?
Well, it depends on Trey Young, honestly. Like, depends on Trey Young. I think he'll be healthy by then. Let's go 7, bro. It's like, even though it's not the finals we want to see, because like
interesting though, it's still gonna be like 7 games. That's still, because like normally like the past couple finals have been like a little hit or miss, with like one team's gotten hurt. What was the last finals? I'm trying to think. Who
no,
played in the last finals?
Heat Lakers.
Heat Lakers, right. That, like, you knew the Lakers were going to
But
overpower
the
the Heat.
bubble was unmatched, though. The bubble was insane, though.
The Mickey Mouse ring.
The Mickey Mouse ring was insane, though. Watching the whole bubble unfold, Luka hitting the game winner on the Black Lives Matter logo, like.
Yeah. And the Clippers choking.
Yeah, the whole Cancun thing. It was crazy, man. Like, the bubble was crazy. The sun's getting sucked up. Like, it was crazy, man. The bubble was literally 1-on-1, bro. But, yeah, I'm going.
And the year before, it was Kawhi and the Raptors beating the Warriors after they lost everybody.
That was a good series, though. So people thought Warriors.
That was still a good series, yeah.
KD, Achilles, Kawhi.
Clay.
Is he got to stay? Yeah, Clay, Kawhi should go back to Toronto. But it's that time, man. I know you're really excited. You even called me after watching Loki episode.
The episode was that good. And the thing was, like, all right, we're going to start spoiling it right now.
Yeah,
At the point that, like, if you haven't seen it, cut it off.
I feel like we should
like and subscribe before you cut it off.
I feel like we should go from beginning to end, though. So they start off with the Hunter getting Lady Loki, right?
Yeah.
And then they capture her for no reason, and then she runs away. I feel like that was insane. Like, she's got those flashbacks still of when they're trying to catch Shelly. I think that's her name, Shelly, right?
Yes, it was when she was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's just playing with toys, and they come get her. I'm like, yo.
I'm like, what did she even do? She's like 7.
Yeah, I know. She's like, what can she do? Like, then they go to when her and Loki, before they get captured, and they're in that planet, and then she tells Loki they know what they're doing. Or they're brainwashed. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And that's crazy to me. So I thought they all, like, I thought I was with them. I was like, oh, TBA created them.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird, though. I'm like, Tom Wilson, like, I've seen you before, man. You look too familiar to be created by the TBA.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see that they're brainwashing them. When Loki finally said that to him,
then he started putting it together, like the pieces together, like.
Yeah, and then that's when that lady went to the other Hunter. What's her name? Like 54 or something like that. Or no, 23. She's 23. That's when she went to Shelly and was like, do that. They went forward in time when they were in the supermarket. And then
she remembered.
And then they did the stone thing, and then she remembered her past. And
I'd never liked her until that part, bro.
Now I'm like, oh, she a homie, man. Yeah.
She was roughing Loki up. She was always kind of mean to me. Like, but like, honestly, like, then she grew on me when she started putting it together and stuff. Yeah. I was like, okay, they're gonna like come back and fight the TVA and stuff.
But the ending was nothing like I thought at all.
Me either.
When they go in there, it's just the one judge. She's looking up at the 3
timekeeper people.
Timekeepers. So we'll say the 3 timekeepers. She's looking up at them, and then here come lady. I mean Loki. The Loki's already in there, right?
Yeah.
And Loki's like, I've already died before. I don't know how you can kill me even more.
Right. And
then they finally they get free. She comes to the elevator, 23, and she gets them free. She puts off their things because Shelly kept walking forward, and they kept pulling her back, and then she didn't get pulled back one time. They're like, "Oh, what's going on?" and then she lets them go free, and then that's when the fight starts happening. They start getting to it, man. They start. I
think Lady Loki is more powerful than the other Loki.
Yeah, I think so too. But it's like
he was struggling. He was
like, I need some help, and then she threw him the knife. I'm like, dude, you can't stand your own ground, man.
Yeah, because like the episode before, he was like carrying top buildings and shit. Like, come on.
But we talked about it, off camera. But we were talking about he's got the time stone.
Yeah,
because the green popped up on the when the building was falling, and then he put it back up. So they're saying there's no way he's ever been that strong before. So he had to steal one of the green stones, the time stones. It's crazy thing about, because that cabinet had all the stones in there, but there's stones like people.
And you see who was guarding them, Casey. Like he was like, these are just the time zones.
And then he just takes her down and go get some. But like, there's so many that I don't think like they have any power to them. You know what I mean? But honestly, like, and then they start fighting, and then she throws a knife at the timekeepers, and then the head falls off, It's a robot, bro.
They're fake. There is no like who's really behind the timekeepers now? Like who's in charge?
You think it's that way?
Yeah, because I've seen some theories. You know, there's a guy I watch on TikTok. He actually gets stuff from Marvel, to be honest. But
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
but Kane the Conqueror, we might see him in this season. So I mean that's gonna open some doors. He's the Avengers villain. If some of you haven't read comics, you know I'm one of those people. But
fucking comics, get the hell out. So it's pretty interesting to see that actually just unfold damn near.
Yeah.
You know, and them being robots, I'm kind of thinking like there's those three are still out there, honestly. Because when you look at when they first started, like episode 1, they show the TVA history. They show those three, unless they're brainwashed so much that those automated robots are like. But there's a leader, obviously, right?
Yeah. Who's the one brainwashing people?
That leader could be, you know, just putting on those 3 machines. Automating them maybe behind the scenes, like, you know, doing the voiceovers and everything, and then they put that person in the you know, they're trying to figure out like I'm running it, but I'm just gonna put on these 3 people so people don't know like who actually runs it.
Yeah,
because then they can just hit him with one of those things, you know. And that's what happened with Loki. Loki's about to tell Shelly he loved her and everything, he liked her, you know.
I mean, I was like had some tears coming down my eyes.
I was like, spit it out, man. Spit it out. I'm there for you, man.
Hey, dude, right in that moment, I called you because I was like, my phone died right when he got, like, stabbed by that girl. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, I thought she was dead. I thought, not dead, but I thought she was, like, gone, bro. So she hit Loki, and then missing credit, Loki wakes up.
So what is that? So that means, like, for all the people that have been pruned, like, where do they go? Like, do they die, or do they just go to, like, their own universes?
They're in a different universe. Because he woke up, and he sees 3 Lokis, you know. He's baby Loki. So only 2 people Lokis, I don't even know. But baby Loki had a gator. That thing is dope as hell. But in the background of him, there's the Avenger Tower. And I think that's pretty interesting, because that could be after 2015 when you know, Thanos sent the attack. You know, it could be 2018 after the snap happened. Like, there's a lot of possibilities that could happen here. I don't know. Obviously, it's just after seeing credit. But I do think it's another universe that they send these Lokis to, because she's smart. The judge is smart.
Yeah.
Maybe she's the one pulling the strings, because she knew like which dimension to send him to.
Yeah.
How does she, like, nobody else would just send him to a dimension with 3 other Lokis?
Yeah.
So I think she sent them there because they sent those people there with Loki traits or Loki variants, just to keep them together, and so they can't do anything else.
The delinquents.
Yeah, delinquents. Yeah. So I think they sent them there.
Right.
There's 4 of them now, so it's gonna be pretty interesting. I loved episode 4, as you can tell. It's the longest breakdown. Episode 3, we didn't have a damn breakdown because it was so fucking ass.
Nah.
So I think that.
So what you think? What's some predictions for episode 5? You think it's gonna be like as good as episode 4, or is it gonna be more like?
I think it'll be better.
Yeah. I think it'll be like a little more descriptive. I don't think it'll be as good as episode 4, but it'll be more informative.
Episode 1, you got to build up. Episode 2 was good because at the end, they're in the supermarket, they left. Episode 3 was just him falling in love, being a simp. You know, we don't simp on these streets, you know.
Nah, we don't.
No simp culture over here, man. You know what I'm saying? But then episode 4 was just amazing. So I'm hoping we got it built up already. We know what's going on. Hope it's going to keep going. Episode 5, let's go, baby. Let's rock.
Let's go.
All right, let's go to close remarks, though. What you got for the people, man?
Devin Bush, man. Dude, he literally just called out his whole entire team. He's basically saying, if you're a TikToker, stay the fuck around me. Like literally, like if you've seen like the tweet below that tweet, it literally said 28 Steelers are on TikTok.
And it's like, they literally call Juju Smith-Schuster TikTok boy.
Yeah.
Corvette. Like, bro, these people are making money.
No, dude, Juju said he made like 6 figures off TikTok alone.
Yeah, in like a month. Chase Claypool's doing the same thing. Like, bro, these people are making hella money, like making corny dance videos. Like, bro, they're having fun. They're making money. Like, come on, man. TikTok's funny as hell. Devin Bush, he just think he cool as hell. And it's why Michigan sucks. But my closing mark, Mississippi State baseball, winning the College World Series. Love to see it. Hashtag grow the game. College baseball, electric, man.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I ain't watch that shit.
You watch it, man. But hey, we going to Omaha next year though. Best believe. All right.
I bet.
Hey, what's your song of the week?
All right. Drake and Brent Fires just dropped a song, "Wasting Time." I'm gonna go with that. But Brent Fires, he kind of carried the song, to be honest.
He definitely did, man. He definitely did. I'm gonna go "Kids See Ghost" by Ye.
Okay.
By Ye. You got anything else for the people, man? Before we close out.
Hey, next episode, expect some talk about Big Brother. You know, me and Jake, Big Brother super fans. You might see us on the show in 2 years, maybe.
I ain't never going on the show, man. Everybody that goes on the show have people not get canceled, man. So hell no, I ain't saying nothing, man. I would definitely get canceled because
I already been canceled, man. We already know it's nothing new.
I've already been canceled, man. It can't be canceled again. But you also can't cancel somebody that doesn't care.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a new outro though. Hey, appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure to subscribe, download, all that, follow us. But if you're listening this far, you're already doing that. You're a super fan. Let's get into it, man. But hey, that's all we got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy your, holiday weekend, July 4th coming up. Appreciate you guys for listening all the way through. Got a new outro for you guys. If you're on YouTube, you'll see all the people that we've interviewed so far. If you're not, enjoy this beat, man.